Let's bring in Noah Rothman, senior writer for National Review, and Matt Bennett, former deputy assistant to President Clinton. Noah, let's start with you. What do you think about the idea, big picture? And by the way, who's going to do all this fundraising?
Well, the parties. And it's just only a fundraising ploy, as far as I can tell. I don't think it's a good idea for a variety of reasons. One being civic. I don't think we should start presidential contests 2.5 years before the primaries even begin. This would functionally be the start bell for the 2028 race, which is also why I don't understand why Donald Trump would want to inaugurate the process of choosing a successor this early. Nevertheless, Ken Martin is in a tough position. He's about $60 million short of the GOP in cash on hand. His party is hemorrhaging registered voters. They expect a lot of very expensive primary challenges to incumbent representatives in the coming primary season. The 28 calendar is not yet set. And all of that, amid all that, big dollar donors are closing their wallets. So Ken Martin has to appeal increasingly to small dollar donors with talk about fascism and a red tie, which alienates him from the broader voting public while squeezing whatever money he can out of the Democratic Party's declining base. It's not a great position to be in. So sure, he's looking to break the emergency glass and do whatever he can to open up those wallets. But this seems like a very short-sighted approach to getting some cash out of the Democratic donor base.
Noah, President Trump's team has been telling people behind the scenes that one of the reasons he is in favor of this is because he believes it could help to highlight what he sees as his successes so far this term. For Democrats, I would imagine your challenge is more about the candidates. Are you going to be ready to put forward a roster of candidates that quickly, that soon?
You may. To the president's point, nothing is stopping him from touting his successes now. He's the president of the United States. He has the biggest microphone in the land.
That's
he doesn't
true.
need a convention stage to do that. But Democrats do have a slate of candidates that are running in what's called now the invisible primary, in which you seek donor support and influencers at the state level in the early states and big party types. That's the stuff that happens behind closed doors for a reason. The public does not need a permanent campaign. The partisanship that ignites is not healthy to the American civic experience. So I oppose it for that reason. And also in 1986, the Democratic Party chairman said this is a terrible idea. It's just too expensive.
Before we go forward, I want to get Matt's thoughts on that.
I have to say, I think it's a terrible idea. I've been to 9 Democratic conventions, and I don't want to go to another one mid-cycle. We just don't need it. And it doesn't make any sense. The people that we need to highlight are the people running in the midterms, and conventions are about presidential candidates. One of our problems is 2 of our A-list presidential candidates, at least 2, are running for re-election in 2026, Governor Shapiro and Moore. Governor Shapiro is running in a really important state, and it could be a tough race. So they cannot even think about running for president until they're through those re-elects. And I don't think it would help with the fundraising. I think it would actually make things worse. Conventions are very expensive, and we tie ourselves into knots saying we're not going to take any corporate money. This is a terrible idea, and I don't think it's going anywhere. I will note that if the Republicans do it, the last time Trump held a convention while he was in office, he did it at the White House, which was an incredible violation of federal law. I hope he doesn't do that again.
Gentlemen, we got to leave it there. Thanks so much for taking time with us. Great to talk to you.
Thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.